Here from simpleprogrammer.com. I couldn't resist having a video with the Coliseum as the background, so I decided to do a video here. It's difficult it is to record in a crowded place like this, but you know what? I think it's worth it. It's a pretty cool background here. You can check out. I'll do a little bit of a pan of the Coliseum. So anyway, I got a question that I thought I'd answer, which is how can I track my personal development? And of course I could answer this multiple ways, but I'm going to just pick one answer today and I'll do another answer at a different time. But someone had asked me, and I've gotten this question a few times, they said they're basically tracking a lot of different things, and they listed a list of things that they're trying to improve in their life, from relationships to also athletics, and obviously we've got a long list of things that all of us would like to improve: temperaments, character traits, things like that. So how do you track that? And it's just so you can get it all done, right? So I'm going to recommend actually a really good book, which is called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I did a review on it. You can check out the review there. And he actually has a recommendation, which I'm going to kind of borrow, and I agree with. It's sort of how I focus on things as well, which is this idea of picking one attribute, one thing that you want to unlearn and relearn. If you listen to the audio or read the book, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But picking the one thing, or think of it essentially as one character attribute that you're going to work on, one particular personal development task or area, and focusing exclusively on that for a time. There's also another gentleman in history who had taken the same approach. His name was Benjamin Franklin, and what he did was he made this chart of basically what he defined as the main virtues, and he made it his goal for different days of the week to focus on some of the virtues like humility, prudence, I'm trying to think what other ones, probably justice, and I don't know, you have to look up and see what his whole list was, however he had characterized them. But that makes a lot of sense, and the reason why is because it's easier to just focus on one thing than rather than trying to focus on multiple things at the same time, and you're more likely to fail if you're trying to focus on one thing, or you're focusing on multiple things. So that's the technique that I use as well. And one thing that you'll find, which is kind of interesting, and a lot of people say this when they start watching this channel and they start improving some area of their life, is that you'll find that when you develop discipline in one area of your life, that it carries over to other areas of your life, and you end up seeing the benefit there. So you may have a list of, let's say, 50 things that you want to improve and work on and personal development wise, and when you work on one thing in that list, you might find that the list now has 40 things, or maybe 30 things, and by the time that you get through 5 items on that list, you might find that you're done with the list, because everything is connected, right? By virtue of working on 1 or 2 things and developing some discipline in some area, you have conquered. Conquering the mind, conquering the will is sort of a all or nothing type of thing, right? I mean, if you conquer it in one area, it carries over, right? It's mastering yourself. I did this video on the two wills, or the 2 selves, which you can check out here. That was a nice thumbnail that Rodrigo did for that video, by the way. Someone said that looked like Shrek on that one. That's pretty cool. So anyway, go check that out if you haven't already. But my advice as far as tracking it, I suppose I answered the question of how to work on one, and that's the best way. I mean, if you're working on one thing, it's very easy to track the progress of one thing rather than tracking 12 different things at a time. And like I said, I think taking that step one at a time, working on it, is going to be the best approach. But as far as tracking it itself, one thing I think that I would focus on, and like I said, I think I'll answer this again in another way, but as far as the basic tracking of it, is you should really be looking at yourself from year to year, and you should be able to look back and see change in your thought. If you don't see change, if you don't think that where you were last year. Like your mental process and your thinking is wrong. If you don't think that it was ridiculous that you were a fool last year, then you're probably not making a lot of growth, and especially in a particular area. So again, I would see that as a general sense. In the more specific sense of tracking, you know, make it have some kind of system, right? I mean, there's a couple of books. I'm trying to think which one had a really good system in place for it. I can't think of it now. I want to say it was, no, I can't really think of it. But one of the things that they mentioned in the book, I'll have to look it up at some point, was having questions that you ask yourself every night. You know, did I do X to the best of my potential, or did I try as best as I could to accomplish X throughout the day? And I think having those set of questions and having, you know, some kind of ritual where in the morning you're reminding yourself of what you're focusing on, and then asking the questions at night to say, did I do this? Did I try to do this? Did I accomplish this? That's going to be the best way to track it over time, and you're going to be able to see how you answer those questions. If you know you have to answer those questions, you're much more likely to think about it during the day and make progress. So you know, it definitely depends on what area, what particular thing, but come up with some system to track. But again, focus on one particular thing at a time, and then your tracking will become a lot easier. All right, that's all I got for you today. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Click the bell to make sure you don't miss any of the videos here. I mean, you definitely didn't want to miss this one, right? Me recording in the Coliseum in Rome. So, all right, talk to you next time. Take care.